Hello friends, you are on the channel Quotes of Great Men. Enjoy watching. Live a life is a monument to your soul. You don't have to see through the eyes of others. Hold on to yours. Stand on your own judgment. You know that what is saying aloud like the holiest of prayers. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Man is not a slave. He is the master of his destiny. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. She is capable of defeating any darkness and destroying any barriers. Compromise does not satisfy, but dissatisfies everybody. It does not lead to any general fulfillment, but to general frustration. Those who try to become everything to all people end up by not being anything to anyone. Romantic art is the fuel and the spark plug of a man's soul. Its task is to set a soul on fire and never let it go out. The world you desire can be won. It exists. It is real. It is possible. It is yours. A culture is not the anonymous product of undifferentiated masses, but the sum of the intellectual achievements of individual men. Only the man who extols the purity of love devoid of desire is capable of the depravity of a desire devoid of love. Contrary to the ecologists, nature does not stand still and does not maintain the kind of equilibrium that guarantees the survival of any particular species, least of all the survival of her greatest and most fragile product, man. I swear, by my life and my love of it, that I will never live for the sake of another man, nor ask another man to live for mine. The purpose of the law is not to prevent a future offense, but to punish the one actually committed. I never found beauty in longing for the impossible and never found the possible to be beyond my reach. There is no such dichotomy as human rights versus property rights. No human rights can exist without property rights. To rest one's case on faith means to concede that reason is on the side of one's enemies, that one has no rational arguments to offer. The pleasure of being drunk is obviously the pleasure of escaping from the responsibility of consciousness. There are no evil thoughts except one, the refusal to think. You love only those who deserve it. I am not primarily an advocate of capitalism, but of egoism. I am not primarily an advocate of egoism, but of reason. If one recognizes the supremacy of reason and applies it consistently, all the rest follows. Men have died in torture chambers, on the stake, in concentration camps, in front of firing squads, rather than renounce their convictions. The appeaser renounces us under the pressure of a frown on a vacant face. Words are a lens to focus one's mind. The right to vote is a consequence, not a primary cause. of a free social system, and its value depends on the constitutional structure implementing and strictly delimiting the voters' power. Unlimited majority rule is an instance of the principle of tyranny. When you see that trading is done, not by consent, but by compulsion, and in order to produce, you need to obtain permission from men who produce nothing, you may know that your society is doomed. What is morality? She asked. Judgment to distinguish right and wrong, vision to see the truth, and courage to act upon it, dedication to that which is good, integrity to stand by the good at any price. So you think that money is the root of all evil? Have you ever asked what is the root of all money? Political freedom cannot exist without economic freedom. A free mind and a free market are corollaries. In that world, you'll be able to rise in the morning with the spirit you had known in your childhood, that spirit of eagerness, adventure, and certainty which comes from dealing with a rational universe. Man is the only living species that has the power to act as his own destroyer, and that is the way he has acted through most of his history. If one's actions are honest, one does not need the predated confidence of others. Don't rely on our knowledge of what's best for your future. We do know, but it can't be best until you know it. The man who lets a leader prescribe his course is a wreck being towed to the scrap heap. I am interested in politics only in order to secure and protect freedom. Force and mind are opposites. Morality ends where a gun begins. All the evils, abuses, and iniquities popularly ascribed to businessmen and to capitalism were not caused by an unregulated economy or by a free market, but by government intervention into the economy. Guilt is altruism's stock in trade, and the inducing of guilt is its only means of self-perpetuation. I got the idea for Anthem's theme in my school days in Soviet Russia when I heard all the vicious attacks on individualism and asked myself what the world would be like if men lost the word I. The cult of moral grayness is a revolt against moral values. Sex is the main thing in a man's life, and a woman is only a means. Thanks for watching. Check out these educational videos too.